Ho ho! Welcome, one and all, to the start of a brand new Kirby month. If you missed out on the intro video, Kirby fans got your back. Throughout the month of August, I'll be looking at a bunch of Kirby games and giving my thoughts onto why they could be considered the best or worst game in the whole franchise. I'm not going to be taking my own personal thoughts into this, so if you watched the Kirby gang rankings from 2 years ago, rejoice! You're getting new content. What an idea. The structure of each of these videos is going to be the same. I'll start with a quick synopsis of the game itself, then go over why it could be considered the best game in the series, immediately followed up by why it could be considered the worst, because hey, what else would you do other than complain? Have a little special surprise and look into what my Discord thinks of every game in question. And finally, end on my own personal thoughts. Yes, I know what I just said before, but what are you gonna do about it? Before diving any deeper into the video, if you like what you see and want to help me out, please consider thinking this video is the best by giving it a like, tell me what your thoughts are in Kirby's Dream Land in the comments, and ring the notification bell after subscribing to really help me out. You can find me on Twitch, join my Discord server, or follow either one of my Twitters if you like me that much, but regardless, I appreciate it. Now then, Kirby's Dream Land is a simple platformer released in 1992 for the Game Boy. You control Kirby trying to make your way to Mountain Dedede and get the food that the nefarious King Dedede stole from the citizens of Dreamland back into their rightful hands, your mouths. At the end of the day, game your way through 4 different action-packed levels and hopefully never go hungry again. This one is remarkably easy to explain. Kirby's Dream Land is the best in the series because without it, there simply wouldn't be Kirby. Wow, short video today. Glad I can finally be quick for once. Miracles do happen sometimes, huh? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you Kirby Fluffle fans in another video. Bye! Tons of staples that we've come to expect from Kirby were introduced in this game, and throughout the years, in some regards, so little has been changed. The Kirby's movement, the feel of the character, the attacks all being mapped to one button, and even the character of Kirby got to start here. And it's not just Kirby. Iconic enemies such as the Waddle Dee, Waddle Doo, Bronto Burt, Wispy Woods, Kracko, Sir Kibble, and who could forget everyone's favorite boss? You know the one, with a name 6 letters long and a battle that takes place above mountains, so memorable that we've seen this character come back in multiple games since? Of course, who could forget Kabula? On the note of day-to-day crying, Kirby's Dream Land did a lot more than just lay the groundwork for the gameplay. It paved the way for just about everything. The animations for this game are stellar. Kirby and Dedede are expressive, environments are varied and feel different even in black and white, or yellow and green, gotta love the Game Boy. Enemies are all easily identifiable and memorable, and come on, I'd have to be insane not to mention the Kirby dance. What I love so much about the Kirby dance here is that it isn't even really a dance. Because of hardware limitations, the developers had to make do with reusing sprites of Kirby and mashing them together in a way that makes it look like Kirby's dancing. We all know in our heart of hearts that he's dancing, but when stupid reality rears its ugly head, it's clear as day that... No! I can't say it. I don't think my fragile little heart can take it. My fragile little heart can handle the music, though. Of course it's good. Kirby soundtracks are almost always good, but to beat a specific point into the ground so hard that even I have to lampshade it, the music here is iconic. The series still uses every single one of the tracks to this very day. You've got some lesser used ones, your Castle Lololos and your boss music tracks, but it's also filled with recognizable classics like Dedede's theme, Bubbly Clouds, and, of course, the Kirby dance. But at the end of the day, who could really forget? This game is a classic. I don't like using that term since I feel like people like to slap it on old media that hasn't actually aged well to excuse how poorly it's aged, but truthfully, this game in all sense of the term is a classic. So much of what we know and love about Kirby now, we owe to this game, with plenty of elements that help it feel fresh to this very day. And if you're still on the fence, well over 400 people have submitted runs to speedrun.com for the normal mode alone. I didn't even get into the extra mode for this game, which is so crazy and wild that it's hard not to love. Truly, this is a game that appeals to everyone, while still setting the bar for the franchise that, for all we know, may never be topped. And that, my friends, is why Kirby's Dream Land is the best game in the series. Alrighty, okay, that's cute and all. Who doesn't like cute, am I right? But the game is 4 levels long. Literally, every other game in the series is longer than this, filled to the brim with... Oh, what's that pesky little word I'm looking for? Content? Fun or not, there's only so many times I can play these 4 levels before I just get bored. Besides, it's not like there's a lot going on with Kirby himself. What can Kirby do here? Walk? Wow, that's so impressive. No other game has done that before. Ever! Even the things that are actually unique, like Kirby's floating, don't really amount to much because there's only so much that can be done with 4 levels. No other game in the series has this issue because there's actually a respectable amount of content, but a good chunk of them also have a defining factor that makes them borderline infinitely replayable. You know it. Copy abilities. We have the next game in the series to thank for those, which leaves this game feeling awfully dry. Without copy abilities, Kirby blends into the crowd of 90s platformers, except he somehow feels even simpler and easier than most. Oh, but if the game is just too easy, play the extra mode. What, where enemies are stupidly fast and hard to react to, leaving you practically guessing if they're gonna show up or not? Making the game either a slow trot or a total guessing game is not my idea of a good time. It's cool that the devs were trying to think of everyone, I'll grant, even playing a potential devil's advocate. I'm not here to get mad at real people, it's just stupid. But in execution, it doesn't result in a good time. It's cool that the game did pave the way for so much of what came forward, but newsflash, they all do what this game did better. Kirby's movement? The adventure has a dash and a slide. The look of the game? It's admittedly aged pretty well, but it didn't even take 5 years to get the games like Superstar. Even for handhelds, wouldn't it make sense for its sequel to be more impressive? Especially since, shock, it has content. And if we're talking about iconic characters, this game doesn't even have Meta Knight. How are you gonna talk about iconic Kirby characters and ignore him? And for all the Waddle Dee that this game has, no Bandana Dee either. For a shame. And all of that gets a pass just because over 400 people speedrun it. Big surprise! A lot of people are gonna speedrun a 20-minute long game. Does that mean anything for its overall quality? No. At the end of the day, you gotta give credit where credit is due, for sure, but does this game actually hold up? Of course not. And with that in mind, there you go. That is why Kirby's Dream Land is the worst game in the series. Before we get into my final thoughts, which, truth be told, I made so many videos about Kirby's Dream Land at this point, you should really know what they are by now. I mentioned before that I had asked my Discord questions every day about which of the games that we're covering for Kirby Month this year, what their thoughts on them were. The reception for Dream Land in my Discord was generally positive. Not too much in the way of people really loving it. People seem to really like the idea of the extra mode, wishing it would come back in more games. And while pressing up to fly is definitely something that people had to get used to, and acknowledging the fact that it didn't have copy abilities or anything, people still generally really liked it. We even have somebody who thought it was way better than Dream Land 2. Do I agree with that notion? You'll have to find out. Kirby's Dream Land is not a game that's going to be for everyone. It's short, it's easy, and if you just plan to play it one time and discard it, you're probably not going to think about it for very long. That said, I think there is a reason why the game is remembered fondly to this day, and not just the 400 people that are speedrunning it. The game sold over 5 million copies on release, kickstarted the career of Masahiro Sakurai, and of course, paved the way for one of gaming's titans for over 30 years now. There's something here that makes it special. People have their problems with it, and I do respect that, but everything about the game was made to make it replayable, easy to pick up, and most importantly, fun. It's a pleasant experience that doesn't overstay its welcome, but just kinda stays in your mind. Maybe you do just want to speedrun it a bunch. Maybe you want to relive a fun part of your childhood. Maybe you can't even explain it, but at the end of the day, Kirby's Dream Land does keep you coming back. Kirby's Dream Land is a personal favorite. To this day, I can still feel the love and charm put into it when I play it, and whenever the time comes for me to replay a bunch of Kirby games, I almost look forward to this one the most. Not quite the absolute most, but that's more on the other games being so good than anything. Between this video, my Kirby game ranking series, the video I made comparing it to the first Fire Emblem game, the Kirby boss rankings, my playing multiple games at once videos, and what other scattered mentions I have of it over the years, this is just a game that never gets old for me. I very clearly have a problem in regards to talking about it. I've probably talked about it for longer than the game's actual length, but that's fine by me. The whole fun with short games is playing them and getting dummy good, understanding them in and out. Long, very long story short, this game is a winner. It's not my favorite, but it is a real winner.